What's going on, Hoop Junkies? My name is Gina Rafina, her name is Ricky Flores, and you are tuned in to the Dugout right here on Basketball TV. Ricky Flo!
Yes!
Last week, we talked about the West Side.
The West Side!
On what's happening in the postseason race of the Western Conference of the National Basketball Association.
Whoa.
So this week, we're talking about the East Side.
The East Side!
Of what's happening in the playoff race of the Eastern Conference of the National Basketball Association.
Yes.
Now,
Now,
we're not talking about the rise and fall of the Pacers,
no.
but we're talking about the teams that are starting to position themselves in the bottom part of the playoff picture. Things have started to get interesting, haven't they?
yes! And if by interesting, you mean, losing records, trying to grind it out, yes, that is correct. Like the West, the cast of 8 still isn't complete. Over at the East, guess how many playoff spots there are left? There's actually just one more. You are correct. And of course, we have the suddenly interesting Cleveland Cavaliers.
Bizarre, so bizarre.
We have the Atlanta Hawks. And then we have Big Apple's very own York Knicks.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, no, not really.
Or there could be the Moscow Nets pretty soon. But anyway, we are gonna be talking about these three teams.
Yes.
The Hawks, the Knicks, and of course, the Cavs. And let's see which team that we will predict will make it to that last spot in the postseason. Let's first take a look at the Atlanta Hawks. Despite the season-ending injury to All-Star center Al Horford, the Hawks still managed to win enough games to be in the playoff hunt this season. Paul Millsap has worked doubly hard for the Hawks this year as he leads the team in both the scoring and rebounding departments. They also have point guard Jeff Teague, who can attack the paint at will, and shooters Kyle Korver and Lou Williams, who can stretch the floor for Millsap to do his work inside. The Hawks have been a playoff staple for several years, so let's see if they can continue the streak.
Next, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. The All-Star break did its wonders for Mike Brown and company as they were able to turn it around, and they are now on the cusp of making their first postseason appearance since the LeBron James era. Dion Waiters is finally proving to everybody that he's not a draft bust, while new players Luol Deng and Spencer Hawes have been successfully integrated to the team's system. Plus, with the return of All-Star Game MVP Kyrie Irving, the Cavs will surely fight to the finish to grab that coveted playoff spot.
Lastly, we have the New York Knicks. Here's a team who many thought will battle the Pacers and the Heat for the East's top seed this year. Well, if there's any consolation for New York fans, despite one of the most disappointing seasons in franchise history, the playoffs is still a possibility. The Knicks are playing fairly well at the latter part of the season, and it seems like they finally have figured it out. Carmelo Anthony is one of the league's purest scorers, and it seems like Tyson Chandler has decided to put intensity back to his game. Plus, Amari Stoudemire has started to play well and earn the money that he's being paid as well. The talent on this team is undeniable. Will it be enough to propel them to the postseason? That remains to be seen. Yeah.
Slim pickings!
Slim pickings is correct. Slim pickings, but it
yes.
is, it is pretty interesting, isn't it?
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what we have to deal with. So apparently there's only one playoff spot left, which is number 8. And we have to pick between the Atlanta Hawks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and of course the New York Knicks.
And the prize for these teams, they get to face either the Miami Heat or the
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers
Woohoo!
in the first round of the playoffs. So, ladies first,
My
as
bet.
always, I always let you go first because I am a gentleman, and that's just the way it is.
Who I think will make the cut for the cast of 8 for the East. And who will be set to face either the Indiana Pacers or,
The Miami
of course,
Heat.
the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
I will have to go with Atlanta. Aside from having, I think, probably the easiest out of all three.
The schedule.
In terms of schedule,
Yes.
So that's one. We also have to mention, of course, the return of their shooter, Kyle Korver. Very efficient. Yeah, all they basically have to do is...
Just hang on.
Yes,
Hang
kapit
on.
lang.
Kapit lang.
Kapit lang.
Kapit Atlanta.
Plus, I'm banking on the fact that probably New York will be facing Brooklyn twice, Miami, Chicago, maybe not so much. Cleveland, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
No, okay, here's what I think.
Okay.
Cleveland is out. I'm sorry, I love Uncle Drew and all, but I just don't think that they have enough, and they're the furthest back as well.
Because of Mike Brown.
I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. So it's gonna come down to two teams for me: Atlanta Hawks or the New York Knicks. When you look at the Knicks, the remaining schedule of the Knicks are all playoff teams.
Yes, they are.
So it's gonna be tough. But because I love a Cinderella story and I love a comeback story, and I am a follower of the Zen Master Phil Jackson.
See, that's why. There it is.
I am rooting for the New York Knicks to make it to the 8th and final spot in the playoffs. Let me tell you why.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
was
tell
just
you
about
why.
to ask, yeah.
Because, what better way to get yourself ready for the postseason and perhaps a battle with the hated Indiana Pacers. Remember those Reggie Miller versus Patrick Ewing days? And then, of course, possibly also the Heat. So they playing all these playoff contenders. And what better way to get into the playoffs than be tested by some of these teams? So, when they get in, that first round battle between either the Heat or the Pacers should be a good one. So I'm going with the Knicks.
Cinderella story for you.
Sort of. It's more like a comeback story.
So
They were supposed to be there already anyway.
yes. So we've counted out the Cavs.
Yeah. Bye-bye, Cavs. Bye, Mike Brown.
But if you guys think otherwise, you might be rooting for the Cavs to make the cut, to let us know, please.
Yeah. Let them know how to get a hold of us and, of course, how to let us know as well.
Well, there's always Twitter, which is probably the easiest. It's at BTV Hoops. There's also Facebook.com/basketballtv and our website, www.btv.com.ph.
So things are heating up in the Eastern Conference and, of course, the Western Conference. You can catch all the action live right here on BTV every single morning. And you can check the schedule on the website, as you mentioned.
Which I will mention again. It's www.btv.com.ph. Right there.
The final buzzer sound in this episode of The Dugout. She's Ricky Flores. I'm Gina Rufino. Go Knicks!
Go! I was going to say Knicks. Sorry. Go Atlanta!
Peace.
Go Bulls! Ah, where are you Lakers?
Oh, they're done.